to me, David, where the double standard comes out here is that we're actually talking here about statutory rape. We're not talking about actual rape. And so when I think about, for instance, the reaction of the community in Steubenville, Ohio, to the charges that were being brought against members of their high school football team for actual rape, or I don't know what the proper term is, but forcing sex on someone against their will, and not just having sex or sexual relations with someone who is under the age of 18, and the fact that they had such a sense of solidarity and warmth for the football team and the members of that team and what that represented for them, and they couldn't imagine that these boys were capable of that they even stifled an investigation, that this was something that was almost not even going to get covered, that there was a sense that they were blaming the girl for being drunk. And then you compare that to the fact that a young lesbian teenager in Florida has a girlfriend who's a couple years younger than her, and she happens to be 18, and the community is bringing the full hammer of the law down on her. To me, there's no question there's discrimination there.
I agree. And I think it is a question for, it's not so much, I think, a question of the individual responsibility. And yes, I suppose there is some responsibility that Caitlin had or should have had. But to me, I think you put your finger on it, and that is the community reaction and the way the community has come down on Caitlin and her family. If Caitlin had been a star football player or perhaps, the quarterback of a championship football team, one wonders whether there would have been any interest in pursuing charges at her at all. And that does get right to the double standard that seems to exist in our society. Having said that, I also, though, in some ways, look, I'm with you. I think the prosecutorial discretion is important in this case. And the idea that prosecutors apparently offered her a plea bargain deal. They offered Caitlin a plea bargain deal if she would agree to register as a sex offender and be on probation for 2 years, and they would drop the charges. Well, that's just ridiculous. This is an honor student. She's having a consensual relationship. This should have been worked out between the families, and I'm sorry it was not. We're going to pause in about 15 seconds and let our syndicated stations join us, and then we will talk with Alan Rosa about social media and Obamacare in 3 words and how it played out on Twitter over the past week. You're listening and watching to Take Action News on WEAC Radio. We now pause in 5 seconds to let all of our syndicated stations join us.